Reinstalling. Okay. Get it done. Those alerts. My printer did not make it. I had to go to Staples. Man, if your printer was that important, Joe, I was gonna tell you when you
still came to vibe coding.
When you left, there's this concept called observability and telemetry, and you could vibe code a service to monitor the health of your printer, like every aspect of it, to make sure that it has ink, to make sure that it's like running on time. You could create like a whole dashboard on like the health of your printer as you're working, so that if it ever encounters like an issue, it could help debug what went wrong and like auto repair itself. I don't know. It's a very common concept, but I've never done it for a printer. So printers generate a lot of telemetry, right? Like if they have an API or you're able to interact with them, they display a lot of data, and you can extract that data to get metrics. And those metrics you could use to monitor every aspect of your printer, because your printer omits that data like all the time. Like printers used to get hacked all the time. Like in the pen test that I was involved in, the printers are vulnerable all the time, and we're able to extract all the print jobs. So all the print jobs, all the stuff that people printed, we're able to extract that because it saves it to a hard drive, and you're able to extract that. It's crazy. Printers are like beyond, I don't know, like beyond saving. I believe it. They never get updated. Yeah. And if the printer is that critical, I would definitely put some observability metrics in there. Yeah, 3 of them. I think I'm on number 7 overall. Yeah, if I were you, I'd create a dashboard that monitors all of them all at the same time, making sure that all of them have, 100, and create health metrics. Just tell your AI to make health metrics of every critical aspect of your printer, including connectivity to the printer, making sure that you're able to still connect to the printer, making sure the printer has colors and ink, making sure it has paper, making sure that you could keep track of the printing queues, like how much it's printing. Like there's a lot of metrics that you could extract and maintain the health of your printers if you maintain like a bunch of them. Sorry, I didn't really think of that until you mentioned that it was a problem. I'm sorry you're going through that, but I hope the advice I give helps. That would be like that's why when you see me, like when you see Sigma Shake, that's why I'm monitoring all the metrics of all my services, right? You saw me with Sigma Shake Workspace, and Sigma Shake Workspace is monitoring the health of my product, my SaaS, to make sure that when I release out in the public and all, that everything's healthy, right? It's something like that. It's like it could be like a pass or fail. It could be It could be individual metrics for like tests and stuff to make sure it passes tests. There's all sorts of things that you could do. So hopefully that helps. I would, if your business is very critical, you're like, the printers are critical to your business, I would definitely set that up. That's your money printer. Your money printer really needs to be at 100% health at all times. Literally a money printer. Oh my god, you're literally printing money.
You all are such a supportive community.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
What's been the most surprising thing you've learned so far while working on resolving the recent
Maybe
alerts?
I'll consult you on how to do. Actually, you're doing arts and crafts.
Sama, it's
I don't have it
amazing
in
how
me.
Semi-Projo's printer
I don't
troubles
have it
haven't
in me.
crashed their coding
But I
spirit.
definitely respect the hustle that you're doing what it takes. I'm just doing something I do every day, but just making it public. I'm doing what I do every day while not streaming.
E1 site's got a tough
I'd be
opponent
doing
in the
this
heatwave, but
all
I know they can
regardless.
power through.
Except talking to chat. I think my voice would definitely be saved. I'm not like yelling or anything, or I'm just chilling. I now gonna have an alert every time my eyes are not looking at recognized.
Impressive printer endurance.
It makes money. I enjoy having control of my own product businesses. It makes worth everything. Yes, definitely. Yeah, if this Sigma shake ever works out, I think I'll be doing what I love every day, you know? You know, when I was in high school and my parents were just trying to get me to do jobs and stuff, like figure out what I want to do, become a doctor or something like that, become an engineer or something like that. The only thing I wanted in my life was to be on a computer. I'm like, man, I'd take any job as long as I have a computer. I'd be happy. But sometimes you're on a computer, and then even though you're on a computer and you have the computer, you could be doing a job that you just is tough job. There's really tough jobs out there.
Makes total sense to me, and it's awesome you're enjoying the freedom of running your own show.
Sigma Shake workspace error.
The AI crowd on Arlukalama is on about LQ Ficala Fadi 24GB cost around 1,200. What's your read?
Parity matrix, huh? Man, this gate is taking a long time. I don't like it. Excuse me. Two hours, 21 minutes, 49%. I think I should make it, right? I should make it.
Semi-Projo's got some serious dedication to their print collect.
Yes, definitely. Come on. How long does it take to change a port number? Reinstalling. Live and working. Real bun, no shim, active. 7912. Alright, busy. Nice. It's a stoplight. I got my stoplight service. Ooh, this is critical. There's this concept. What do you call it? Joe.
What do you think about the trade-off between
There's this
implementing a more
concept
complex
called
solution for the face recognition loss toggle versus keeping it simple for now?
Alright, let me do some listening. There's this concept called concurrency, parallelism, concurrency and parallelism. And it's a term meaning, you know, if you have two jobs and they're both active at the same time, that means it's working in parallel. But if you want to, the concept of having multiple jobs or tasks working at the, you know, within the same time frame, one after the other, it's called working concurrently. That's the two concepts. Then there's a concept called a race condition. So a race condition is when two jobs or two workers, let's say two printers, are trying to do the same job at the same time. What happens is one will fail, or they might both print at the same time, the same thing. So in order to like prevent that, there's several techniques, honestly. But in this case, what I'm doing is creating like a stoplight service where, you know, if there's only one slot that could be active at a time. So if another, you know, printer tries to print, it'll just get sent a busy response. And so like, so until the light goes green, that's when the next task could like begin again, type of thing. Like if it's like a traffic light, right? Stop and go, you have a bunch of cars, you go through, and then when it turns red, everybody stops and then lets the other lane go through, like the crosswalk type of thing. I only mention it because you might turn up the notch of, you know, working more productively, and if you have multiple printers working at the same time, you might encounter some issues when you get Claude or when you get the Codex to do multiple jobs at the same time. You want to make sure that they're not, you know, doing this, repeating the same work, creating duplicate work. Like you want to create that bottleneck or gatekeeper or traffic light service. So if you ever encounter that, just remember, create a stoplight, traffic light, something like that, considering that you have multiple printers. And the same thing has happened to me. That's why my system has been shutting down like crazy, because if you look at my terminal, there's like 12 plus Claude Code sessions running at the same time. And so I'm running into this issue where if they run all these tests all at the same time, it crashes my computer. So I have to implement that stoplight. Call it the build gate. That's a good use. I'm brainstorming over here if it would help. Yep. Yeah, so like the observability and metric service is something I'd want to keep track of. Observability is more of like, what do you call it? just monitoring everything that it's doing at all times. This looks pretty simple. Honestly, this isn't a good check of observability. But just monitoring like every metric possible and happening in real time. I probably need to change this to work in real time with actual trend line metrics that should look like this type of thing. But I'll probably do that as another thing to do later. Right now I just have so many windows open that need to be complete. There's also one concept that I also want to get through to you too. It's called audit logs. My issue is each printer is slightly different, ink applications, color slightly different, so each project has its own printer. Yeah, that makes sense. You still need to maintain the health of all of them. All right, concept number 2 that I'll teach you. In the security world, we have this concept called audit logs. Audit logs, pretty much every event for the concept for you, every print job, every request to print something, every configuration change, all that stuff, we create an audit log of it and store it either locally or a centralized database or location, so that in the case something happens, like let's say one print job didn't print, you could search your audit log history for events of when the job failed or something like that. Right, so then you could triage like what happened in that print job and what were the parameters of that print job that caused it to fail, and then can still continue working, type of thing. So let's say you're printing a piece of paper and it's missing a dot for some reason. You could look for that particular job when it happened and identify like what happened there. I'm having a log of runtime would help a lot, so I don't overstress the printers. Yes, exactly. So that's another thing. If you have a concept of overstressing printers, you could track that as a health metric to see what the current state of the printer is, to see when it's overloading or something like that. So that's another concept too that helps. So yeah, there's plenty of things that in the world of observability, logging, and then the last thing before you go, it's called alerting. And I don't have that here, unfortunately, and I wish I did. I probably should. But think of it as notifications, all right? When something happens, let's say, you could create rules, detection rules is what we call it in security. And it's a concept of creating a rule engine to monitor every log event, right? And when a specific rule parameter happens, let's say you're creating a rule for any failed job with a missing dot, right? And when that parameters trigger the rule, it could create an alert and notification to you. An example is notifying you via Discord that there was a failed job, so that when you walk away from the printer, right, and you have your phone, it will notify you and say, hey, there's an issue with the printer, you need to check it out, right? I have a ton of alerts. You don't see it, because it's not shared with you, but I have lots of observability and monitoring and rules to notify me when somebody downloads something, or there's an issue, or there's a compliance issue with a scan, or there's a notification with my provider if something happened. So all that combined together helps you, learn about, when an issue happens, you're notified about it. And hopefully that helps, because it helps a lot when the automation, and it lets you sleep at night, right? When everything is working, you're able to sleep at night. And then when you're notified, when something goes wrong, you'll be notified of it. Yeah. I know I said a lot of things, but feel free to ask. Make sure there's a say so I can listen again. All right. Got it. Make sure we don't play any copyright music. Yeah. Yes. Yep. All right. I think 2 real bugs fix. All right. Now we need to improve the performance of this. Let's compact this. Now we need to improve the performance of stoplight. Hey, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the bits. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Joe. I hope my advice helps you out. It's usually only in the security world that we talk about that stuff, and observability and software engineering. But it's called resilient engineering. I frame it as resilience. Making something resilient, meaning something could go, like lots of things could go on, but it will survive. It will survive, and you could find out when something goes wrong. You might, to be fair, what do you call it, Joe? You might be referred to use like crazy stuff like Prometheus and Grafana for like observability and for observability and stuff. And it's free, but they lock you down. So I recommend just vibe coding your own stuff. But if you want inspiration of what a real observability production system really looks like, it looks like that. It looks like this. Sorry for the flashbang. Wait, do they even have like ability to change? Pretty much there's like tons of, like metric dashboard thingies. But the thing about observability data that they use, it generates a lot. You're throwing my 2 cents. Hey, Iniso, thank you. You might need it too. You might need that advice too when you're doing the data center work. Maybe you don't have to be the hands-on data center. Maybe you could be the observability guy. The observability guy is pretty fun. I got to admit, it's pretty fun. When you set up observability with systems, it's fun. The only downside is it's super expensive. It's super expensive to maintain this whole stack, guys. You could spend millions of dollars on maintaining this stack, but as a solo dev, you won't need it. But in like an actual production system with like, hundreds of thousands of millions of users, it gets really expensive. But you get to see all the cool dashboards. You get to get notified of stuff. The problem is everybody will rely on you. Everybody. So if something goes wrong, it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad.